Yes, dopamine is very important for the experience of pleasure, but dopamine itself seems to have broader functions.
Dr. Breiter has shown that the simple dopamine reward system triggers a complex cascade of chemicals throughout the brain, affecting regions that control consciousness, personality, and memory.
We saw approximately 90 regions of the brain light up. They turn on, and then most of them turn off, almost in time synchrony to the feelings of euphoria.
Every pleasure is the result of the primitive brain triggering a complex chemical flow.
It's a rush. It's an emotional, neurological rush.
Ski instructor Will was drawn by the pleasures of Lake Tahoe. But it wasn't the snow that lured him here. It was the prospect of falling in love.
I mean, there's a temporary jump in your nervous system that just feels so good.
That excitement associated with love is a natural reward for finding a mate and involves a variety of neurochemicals. The sight of a loved one releases a stimulant called adrenaline, making the heart beat faster. Touch produces oxytocin, a chemical which encourages us to bond. The feeling of romance comes from a special chemical called phenylethylamine, or PEA. Together, these chemicals can be overwhelming.
What happens for me is I see this beautiful woman, and then that charge starts to come over me. So I go into this whole fantasy. You know, in a split second, I can have a whole fantasy about marriage, babies, the car we'll drive, where we'll live. You know, it can happen in a matter of a second. There's a pleasure in being lost in that fantasy.
When you fall in love, you can go into what would be a trance state, an altered state of consciousness, which essentially is a drug state.
Endlessly happy.
Exciting, euphoric.
State of nirvana.
Intoxicating.
It's an altered state of consciousness. It is a high.
Sharon O'Hara is a therapist at Del Almo Hospital in California.
At least in your own brain, when you fall in love.
She treats patients who are addicted to love.
What you could then become addicted to is your own brain chemistry, if you will.
Sharon thinks as many as 5 million adult Americans pursue that feeling. And, like Will, they do so at the expense of all else.
It's the state that we're all looking for, to be flooded with this incredible chemical.
Coffee for you?
I have this craving. It's basically uncontrollable for me sometimes. Well, most of the time. I get into that experience of rush where it feels so good. I literally become consumed. Things do fall away. Other needs become less important. Sleep. I stop calling friends. I'll show up late for work. So, yeah, I do get sort of tunnel vision.
Anything else?